The story of the British Empire begins not with grand conquest, but with maritime exploration. It was a time when the seas were vast and uncharted, and the spirit of adventure was alive in every sailor's heart. Driven by a desire for new trade routes and the allure of the unknown, English ships ventured further from home. They braved treacherous waters and unpredictable weather, all in the hope of discovering new lands and opportunities. Early settlements, like Jamestown in Virginia and those in the Caribbean, were established. These settlements were often fraught with challenges, from hostile environments to limited supplies, yet they persevered. These outposts, initially small and fragile, represented the first seeds of a sprawling empire. They were the footholds from which the British would expand their influence slowly but surely. The quest for resources, coupled with growing naval power, fueled further expansion. Timber, tobacco, and other valuable commodities were extracted and shipped back to England, enriching the nation. The East India Company, chartered in 1600, became a pivotal player. It was not just a trading entity, but a force that shaped the destiny of entire regions. Tasked with trading in the East Indies, the company's influence expanded. It established a network of trading posts that became centers of commerce and interaction between different cultures. It established trading posts, raised armies, and effectively governed territories. The company's private armies were instrumental in both protecting its interests and expanding its reach. This blend of commerce and conquest became a hallmark of the burgeoning empire. The British Empire's story is one of exploration, trade, and the relentless pursuit of power and resources, laying the foundation for what would become a global dominion. The 18th century saw Britain emerge victorious from a series of conflicts, establishing itself as a formidable maritime power. The defeat of rival powers such as Spain and France solidified British dominance at sea, ensuring control over crucial trade routes and maritime territories. This naval supremacy paved the way for unprecedented territorial expansion, allowing Britain to extend its influence far beyond its shores. From North America to the Caribbean, vast swathes of land came under British control, transforming these regions into vital parts of the empire. The acquisition of India, a land of immense riches and strategic importance, marked a turning point in British colonial ambitions. The British East India Company's gradual takeover, culminating in the Battle of Plassey in 1757, transformed the subcontinent into a cornerstone of the empire, providing vast resources and a strategic foothold in Asia. This period of rapid expansion truly made the British Empire a global power, on whose territories the sun never set. The empire's reach extended across continents, influencing cultures, economies, and politics worldwide, leaving a lasting legacy that shaped the modern world. The British Empire's vastness encompassed a diverse array of colonies, each playing a distinct role. India, often referred to as the jewel in the crown, provided a wealth of resources, from spices and textiles to tea and opium. The Caribbean islands, with their sugar plantations, fueled the empire's sweet tooth and drove the transatlantic slave trade, a dark chapter in human history. Australia, initially a penal colony, transformed into a major agricultural producer, supplying wool and wheat to the empire. These colonies, each with its own unique character, became interconnected nodes in a vast network of trade and exploitation. The wealth extracted from its colonies fueled Britain's industrial revolution. Raw materials flowed into British factories, transformed into finished goods, and then sold back to the colonies and beyond. This economic engine brought unprecedented prosperity to Britain, but often at the expense of its colonial possessions. The British Empire's demand for resources and markets spurred innovation. New technologies like the steam engine and the power loom revolutionized production and transportation. This era saw the rise of industrial cities, the growth of the middle class, and the spread of British influence around the globe. Section 5. A tapestry of cultures, language, law, and the enduring legacy. The British Empire's impact extended far beyond economics. British culture, language, and institutions left an indelible mark on its colonies. English became a global lingua franca, facilitating trade and communication. British legal systems were introduced in many territories, shaping their judicial practices. Education systems, often modeled after British institutions, spread Western knowledge and values. While this cultural exchange had its benefits, it also contributed to the suppression of indigenous languages and traditions. The legacy of British rule remains a complex and often contested issue in many former colonies. Section 6. The Iron Fist and the Velvet Glove: Colonial Administration and Resistance. Colonial rule was rarely a benevolent endeavor. While some administrators genuinely believed in a civilizing mission, the reality often involved exploitation and oppression. Local populations were frequently subjected to discriminatory laws, forced labor, and the suppression of their cultures. Resistance to British rule took many forms. From armed rebellions to peaceful protests, colonized peoples fought for their rights and freedoms. Figures like Mahatma Gandhi in India and Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana emerged as leaders of independence movements, challenging the very foundations of the British Empire. Section 7. Figures of influence, monarchs, politicians, and the shaping of an empire. The British Empire's story is intrinsically linked to the figures who shaped its course. From the corridors of power to the battlefields, each individual left an indelible mark on history. Monarchs, from Queen Elizabeth I to Queen Victoria, played symbolic and political roles, their reigns marking different eras of expansion and transformation. Queen Elizabeth I's era saw the beginning of overseas exploration, while Queen Victoria's reign witnessed the empire at its zenith, with territories spanning across continents. Prime ministers, such as William Pitt the Elder and Benjamin Disraeli, navigated the complexities of empire, making decisions that impacted millions around the globe. Their policies and diplomatic maneuvers were crucial in maintaining and expanding British influence, often balancing between war and peace, colonization and diplomacy. Military leaders like Lord Nelson and Lord Kitchener secured victories that expanded British dominion. Lord Nelson's naval strategies were pivotal in battles like Trafalgar, while Lord Kitchener's campaigns in Africa and India solidified British control over vast regions. Their strategic brilliance and ruthlessness on the battlefield contributed to the empire's vast reach, but also came at a human cost. The expansion often led to conflicts, displacements, and profound changes in the lives of millions, leaving a legacy that is still felt today. Section 8. The Empire at War: Global Conflicts and the Seeds of Decline. The 20th century saw the British Empire embroiled in two devastating world wars. While these conflicts ultimately demonstrated British resilience, they also exposed the empire's vulnerabilities. The financial and human toll of these wars weakened Britain's global standing and fueled calls for independence in its colonies. The rise of new global powers, particularly the United States and the Soviet Union, further challenged British hegemony. The post-war era witnessed a shift in the balance of power as former colonies asserted their independence and demanded a place on the world stage. Section 9. The Winds of Change, Nationalism, Independence, and the Reshaping of the World. The decades following World War II witnessed a wave of decolonization. Fueled by rising nationalism and a growing awareness of colonial injustices, former British territories fought for and gained their independence. India's independence in 1947 marked a watershed moment, signaling the beginning of the empire's dismantling. From Africa to Asia, the map of the world was redrawn as former colonies claimed their place as independent nations. The process of decolonization was often complex and fraught with challenges, but it ultimately reshaped the global order. Section 10. Legacies of Empire: From Commonwealth to Contested Histories. The British Empire may be a thing of the past, but its legacies continue to shape the world today. The Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of former British colonies, reflects the enduring ties forged through empire. However, the legacy of British rule remains a complex and often contentious issue. Debates over colonial injustices such as slavery and economic exploitation continue to resonate. Museums and institutions grapple with how to represent the complexities of imperial history, acknowledging both the achievements and the dark sides of this era. Section 11. A Lasting Impact: The British Empire's Echo in the Modern World. The British Empire's influence can still be felt in countless aspects of the modern world. From language and law to education and sports, the echoes of empire reverberate across continents. Understanding this historical legacy is crucial for comprehending the complexities of global interconnectedness. The British Empire's rise and fall offer valuable lessons about power, ambition, and the human condition. It serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of historical forces and the importance of critically examining the past to navigate the present and the future.